Hi guys, I am Shelly, and today's hot topic, hot topic, is going to be about friendships and how the whole dynamic of maintaining friendships changes as we get older, right? So, um, when we're young, friendships come and go, and it's and I do have some friends, by the way. I have friends that I've had for 40 years, and I have another friend I've had for, like 53 years. And so that happens. We have those friends that we hold on to for a lifetime. But when you are older, and you start making friends, like for example, I have a little group of friends, and we've been friends for 5 years, 6 years, um, and the interesting dynamic there, like I actually had a friend that I was friends with for years. I'm talking, the better part of 35 years. And then about, I guess 3 years ago or so, I was at her house and she was having a Halloween party. It was, just a small gathering. So I was there and her neighbor came over. And her neighbor was from New Jersey, I'm from New Jersey, and you get to talking and we're all laughing and having just a great time. So I go home. Well, the next day my friend called me to tell me, I can't believe the way you acted. Even my boyfriend couldn't believe, you're stealing my friends. And I was like, what? Like, I'm there thinking we're all just having a good time, and she was so insecure that I was like stealing her friend, right? It was very weird. And over time, our friendship was really, really pretty good when we were young. Like, we had this, pretty decent relationship. We went to New York together, and we had a pretty good relationship over the years. But I noticed that as she got older, um, I think her view of herself was not great. She had not a really good confidence level. She wasn't confident in who she was, and she was insecure. And I knew that. And I was very sensitive of that. And she had, issues with her boyfriend at the time, or she's still with him now, but issues with her boyfriend. And I knew all this. Like, she would come over and, she wasn't speaking to her kids. And she was so, she was very demanding. I'm not even kidding. Like, if she calls you and you don't call her back, you're being mean, or if she texts you and you don't text her for a few hours, you don't care about her. The interesting thing is, and as we get older, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this, as you get older, you really just, sometimes you just don't want to talk to anyone. You want to lay on the couch. You don't want to do anything. You just want to, decompress, be alone. You don't want any, 4-hour conversations or whatever. And she is not that person. She's not that friend that you could say, look, I just don't feel like talking to anybody right now. I just, I'm just not in the mood. Or, God forbid you say, I can't talk right now, I'm tired. She was very, very dramatic. And I knew that about her, and that was okay. That really wasn't the big issue. The big issue is she was very draining. Like, she was very demanding. We had a situation really quick. I'll try to explain it. We had met a mutual friend, and that mutual friend deleted her off Facebook. She said, oh, I want you to call her and ask her why she deleted me off Facebook. And I said, you know what? I just don't want to get involved in that. It's going to go bad. I said, you and I are going to argue. And she says, no, I just want to know why she deleted me. Back and forth. I go to this mutual friend, and the mutual friend says, well, it's not personal. It's just like a lot of her stuff is kind of Debbie Downer, is kind of depressing. And I just don't like that kind of stuff on her Facebook or whatever. And she said, it's just not for me. It wasn't personal. I just don't like her stuff. It's very depressing. So I go back and I tell this person, I say, look, she just said your stuff's kind of depressing. She said, well, did you defend me? And I said, it wasn't a defend you situation. I said, she just didn't like your Facebook post. I go, she has a right to that. And oh my God, it blew up. Yes, it was a 4-month battle. We didn't speak for 4 months. It was a big fight. Like I told her it would be, because I know how dramatic she is. If you don't, if you don't ride or die for her, you're a terrible friend. You know, you're not sticking up for her. You're not, you know, she just, oh, like, it was crazy. So in any case, that friendship ended after the whole thing, you stole my friend or whatever. I fired back. I said, look, that's insane. I said, that is insane. I said, you know what you're accusing me of? You're telling me that I came to your house to deliberately undermine you and steal this person who I didn't even know. It was nuts. So needless to say, this past October was, I don't know how long we haven't spoken, a couple of years. Because I'm a very simple person. You know, I'm easygoing. I don't want a lot of drama, you know, at this stage in my life. My circle of friends that I have now, listen, we can talk every day and it's great. But if we don't talk for a week, no one's mad at anyone. Like, it's okay. We have lives. Like, we all have things going on. We have health issues. You know, we're older. You know, I have friends that have autistic children like myself. We have husbands. We have things going on. We can't just drop everything and talk for 4 hours on the phone. So I'm lucky in that I do have a core group of friends that understand that, you know, there's going to be times when we don't speak for 2 weeks or a month or whatever the issue, but we do know that we can pick up the phone and we're kind of right there for each other. So it's just really important to, and I know this sounds very repetitive on my part, but it is very important to protect our peace, right? We're in the last phase of our lives. I can't stress that enough, how important it is to protect your mental health, protect your emotional health. Don't let somebody bully you into doing stuff you don't want to do, or convince you you're a bad friend if you don't talk to them for 2 hours on the phone when you just don't want to do it, right? You don't feel like sitting on the phone with someone for 2 hours. Or you don't want to talk for a couple of days. You just don't feel like talking. You know, that's okay. Listen, we've been gifted to make it to this age, right? We've earned that peace to just like not talk if we don't feel like it or whatever. And if they cared about you the way they say they do, that would be okay. Like, oh, hey, my friend Shelly, she just decompresses sometimes, and she just, you know, I'll drop off. I'll MIA for 3 days, like nobody's business. My friends will tell you, like, I just drop out. But they're cool with that. Like, they know it's not because of them. It's just something that I need to do for my peace or for myself. So all that being said, I think it's important when we make new friends or when we lose friends, or it's okay to be there for your friend. I'm not saying that if your friend needs you, you can turn your back because you just want to have coffee that day. My friends need me. I'll move mountains for the people that I love, and they know that. But they also know that there are times when I need to just shut down and Shelly needs to go away and just kind of regroup or whatever. So, I mean, do you guys have demanding friends like that? Like, do you have that friend that just, you know, that lid is screwed on so tight, you're like, man, they're going to blow, right? They need to just relax, or don't expect so much from me, right? Just, you know, I'll be there if you need me, but I can't do the every day and, you know, lock down to a schedule every minute, every day. So let me know, do you guys have those types of friendships where if you are not at their beck and call, they think you're not being a good friend? Or, you know, they take a lot of their insecurities out on you, and you've kind of had to walk away from that friendship, that whole situation. I've had to do that. And in the end, it turned out to be the right thing to do for me. It turned out to be beneficial. So, yeah, that's my take a little bit on friendship for senior ladies, for boomer friendships. They're getting older, you know, how to, you know, navigating friendships later on. I've got a part 2 to this probably. There's like, oh, I could all day about friendships. But anyway, have an amazing day, and let me know. Let me know if you have that friend that just like, oh, like makes you crazy, or that you had to walk away from. And that's it. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.